Aubrey.
Yes.
Let me say one word to you. Basketball. I think it's a sport that we can finally agree on the name of.
Yes.
Just remember, like 3 or 4 episodes back, we couldn't agree if it was soccer or football. Hashtag team football.
Tale as old as time. Yes, I think we can agree on this one. It's very descriptive. Basketball.
Have you been to a game or two in your time, Aubrey?
I have. What about yourself?
I also have. When I was in Houston, I went to a basketball game there. Let me tell you, I have never seen a t-shirt gun in my life.
Were you startled?
It was such an experience. But here's a question. Once you get into the venue or even the arena itself, what is the first thing that you do?
I'm a millennial, right? So you post some pictures, you post it on your socials, hashtag, whatever the game is, and make your presence known, essentially, right?
Hashtag go sports. Well, with over 10,000 other people trying to do the same, have you ever considered the infrastructure needs to make sure you, the fans, are all having a good time? Well, in today's episode, we're looking at Chase Center in San Francisco to find out more about what's going on behind the scenes and how they make the fan experience tick. I'm Michael Bird.
I'm Aubrey Lovell, and welcome to Technology Now from HPE.
Nowadays, as you know, watching sports isn't just about the game. It's the entire experience. From before you even arrive to the moment you leave, there's tons and tons of stuff going on behind the scenes to ensure that you, as the fan, enjoy every moment that you spend there.
And of course, it's not just sports, right? I mean, many arenas can be used for sports, music, and concerts and other performances as well.
Absolutely. And when we're talking about Chase Center, all of these different events use the same technology and the same techniques to ensure you, as the fans, have a seamless experience. From paperless tickets to apps which give you special offers for food and drink, even the security systems, everything is linked up to keep you, the fan, happy.
And engaged.
Yeah, absolutely. And sports venues are obviously built with this in mind. So, to find out more, I spoke with Senior Director of IT for the Golden State Warriors, Brian Fulmer. The Golden State Warriors are based at Chase Center in San Francisco, and I spoke to Brian about how they designed and created the arena.
But before we get to your talk with Brian about Dub Nation...
What's Dub Nation?
Dub Nation, it's the community, it's the fan base of the Golden State Warriors.
Okay. Fair enough.
I thought it would be interesting to look a bit into some of the historical sport venues, which means it's time for, drumroll, Technology Then. Okay, so technology and arena design and sport have been around for millennia. Ancient amphitheaters and chariot racing arenas were designed with tiered seating to give everyone a view. Sound design was worked into their shape so that everyone could hear what was being said. And for thousands of years, fan experience has been central to venues and also to our society, right? Archaeologists have found olive pits, cherry stones, blackberry seeds, and even evidence of walnuts at the Colosseum in Rome, proving that we are not the only ones who like a cheeky trip to the concession stand before we watch a game. Just the menu has drastically changed. And as the world advanced, so did the way we watch sports, because nowadays we expect to be able to see a game from start to finish if we're in the audience. But back in the day, once it got dark, that was it. It was over. So, Michael, pop quiz time. Do you know what the first sport to use floodlights to illuminate a match was?
Can you give me a clue?
Okay, I'll give you a hint. So it's now viewed as a very, very British sport.
Ooh.
And pretty posh too, I will say, despite it being over 2,000 years old.
British sport? Cricket? No.
Getting close.
That's not 2,000 years old. Go on, tell me.
Okay, in July 1878, the first ever game played under floodlights was polo.
Oh yeah, very British.
Tricky.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which, for those who haven't come across it, it's a bit like playing hockey while riding on a horse.
Yeah, I actually live really near to a polo club, and I live in quite a horsey part of England.
Of course you do. Well, anyways, obviously modern day arenas need to have far more than floodlights to get up and running. So how do they do it?
Well, Aubrey, to answer that question, I met with Brian Fulmer, the Senior Director of IT at the Golden State Warriors. And before we talked about Chase Center, the arena he helped design, the first thing I asked him was, what does a Senior Director of IT actually do?
My job really is like a chief architect, designer, a coach, a general manager, and really kind of bringing and pulling in the team to actually support all of the technology that we deploy at our arena and our other satellite offices. But I would say if I were to boil that down to one or two things, I feel that I'm a coach or a general manager, really orchestrating everything.
So particularly for those listeners who aren't in the US, can you just give us an introduction into Chase Center? Like, sort of tell me a bit about what it is.
The vision of Chase Center is all about live experiences. And that equates from the events that we have inside of the arena, and it also impacts what is happening around the arena. So we built out a very large city block in San Francisco that includes not just the arena, but approximately 25 retail locations with restaurants. We have a brewery, we have a team store. We also have 2 large office towers on our property, and there's a park across the street from the arena that was all part of this destination, which we call Chase Center and Thrive City. It is a 11.5 acre, approximately 100,000 feet of retail, plus the 18,000 seat arena. So there's this complete environment that we've created that we wanted it to become a destination that was a must-do in San Francisco.
So what sort of things do you have to sort out with an IT infrastructure for an 18,000-seat arena? Not your usual IT estate, I'd say.
We are designed and built for having all 18,000 fans inside of the building. So we have really built this interwoven, highly connected, multifaceted infrastructure to help facilitate an amazing experience for our fans as they come to Chase Center for whatever event they're there for.
Yeah.
A basketball game, a concert, family show. It's all the same to us. But at the end of the day, we had that mindset of we're always going to have 18,000 plus people inside of our home. So we have built it in that way.
So some pretty hefty networking.
It's not your normal traditional IT office build out. One of the stats I love to mention to folks is just to kind of wrap their head around it. We have over 600 miles of fiber optic cabling running throughout the entire venue. We could surround the city of San Francisco multiple times with that amount of fiber, but that's what's necessary in order to push all of that data and information and have that connected experience that our fans really have grown accustomed to.
Then presumably the 600 miles of fiber connects into a data center somewhere.
Yeah, and I've counted every inch.
Wow, okay.
No, but there's a lot.
Can you talk me through the on-site data center, where it is, what it does? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, so we have one major dedicated data center on premise. It's on the event floor of our arena. It's approximately 1,200 square feet, but it is packed with technology. We have our Aruba switching technology, all of our cybersecurity, threat prevention, all of that equipment and infrastructure is packed inside of this data center that is very deep within the arena.
Yeah. And just talking about the arena then, so what are the most important things people should know about?
I would say the most important things that anyone coming to Chase Center should know or even experience is that it is an unparalleled experience in the sports and entertainment world. We want it to be frictionless from the time that you come onto our property, get connected to our Wi-Fi, scan your ticket on your mobile device, walk in and just take in the full breadth of our arena with visual displays, looking at stats from your favorite player on your phone, walking up to a concession stand, getting something to eat, and just being fully immersed in the environment that we've created. But at the end of the day, from an IT and technology perspective, we want to be that silent partner. We really want to be invisible.
And is Chase Center the sort of stadium or arena that other stadiums or arenas should aspire to be like?
I really hope so. And even though we're 5.5 years old now, we have stayed cutting edge with our technology. With the help of being partners with HPE and Aruba, we have replaced all of our equipment with the mindset of staying current and meeting or hopefully exceeding expectations that any fan would have when they're coming and watching a show or watching a basketball game, whatever they're there for. And we heard from the very beginning from our executives and our ownership group that we're in the excitement business. We put on live events. That's what we're here for. So everything was thought through from the mindset of a fan and what kind of experience that they could have and trying to live up to that expectation. So that's what's really, really important.
You sort of allude to this, but can you just sort of give me a list of the job of IT infrastructure at Chase Center? Like, it's not just Wi-Fi. There's more to it than that, yeah?
I hope it's not just Wi-Fi. I mean, Wi-Fi is a core element, but it's so fundamental at the end of the day that I feel that it's kind of a given. I think it's everything else, like all the other technology, all the network switches to all of I have 8,500 endpoints. We can talk about the security cameras that I have and other devices that are all connected to our network. So there's this interwoven connectedness that from the ground up, from the data center all the way out to a Wi-Fi access point to a security camera on, a street. Everything is just interconnected, and it really is the core of this infrastructure that I've been talking about. But how the fan interacts with that infrastructure should never be how or I wonder why they've done that. It should just be automatic.
Yeah.
There should just be this effortless, I'm here at Chase Center, and wow, I'm connected to a very fast Wi-Fi. I know where my seat is. I know what food I want to eat, and I'm going to take in whatever show or event I'm here for.
Yeah. I'm from the UK, so we talk about soccer. So like, I always think of IT as sometimes a bit like a goalkeeper. Like, you sort of don't want to worry about it unless something goes wrong. And like, as you said, you just want it to be completely seamless, don't you?
Correct.
And do you find different events, fans or attendees or audiences, like, interact with the space differently? And does that bring challenges to you and your team?
Yeah, every event is different and presents its own set of challenges. We've hosted an esports event. We've hosted wrestling events. We've had private events. We've had country music to rock and roll to everything in between. Every event is completely different. And just to give you a couple of examples, that the esports event that we hosted, the crowd looked different. They acted different. They were all live streaming the event, but it was certainly eye-opening from, at that time, we had never seen that much data pushed through our network in a short amount of time. Just to put it in perspective, we were pushing around 5 terabytes of data in just a few hours of this esports event. We have since surpassed those numbers, but I would really equate this as a small city. And the small city is all online, surfing the web, downloading content, live streaming, and you could probably think of that in what happens over a weekend. I did it in about 2.5 hours.
Wow. Internet connectivity into the stadium must be pretty immense.
Pretty immense?
Yeah, immense.
Yes.
So with so many people accessing your network, you must have to be thinking about cybersecurity quite a lot. I mean, esports events, I imagine that those sorts of attendees are probably, maybe they want to try your network a bit more than maybe some other events.
There are always threats. We, unfortunately, are a target just like any other entity. And we do our very best I feel that we've created a very robust cybersecurity program. We have over time increased our posture because we've put on so many of these world-class events, like the esports event that you had mentioned. Certainly when I have 18,000 plus guests inside of my venue, certainly our eyes are wide open and making sure that we are keeping everything and everyone protected.
I mean, there's a lot to think about, right? We talk about this a lot where it's almost implied that you need to do the next thing in order to be relevant in today's age. And I love what he said about when they were building it, they had the mindset of a fan and kind of reverse engineering the experience to what the needs are of the fan. And I think it's really like transversal, right? Because it's not just what happens in the arena. It's also what happens outside, because now you're talking about, you know, in the past, you'd have this fan experience that just stayed within the arena.
Yeah.
And now with social media and technology, it actually goes outside of that. And people are seeing that experience with you through social media, you know, all the different clips and things, hashtags, all of that. So it's really cool how they thought through it.
I think fan experience is really, really important, because to leave the house to go and do something, it is all about the experience, I think.
Mm-hmm.
As people who work in technology, we're always taught to think about the user. Like user-centric design is basically how we design things these days. You think about the user and you work your way back. And non-user-centric design often fails because users find it frustrating to use. We have this expectation that we as users and as fans are thought about. Everything should be seamless.
Agreed. And I think we're getting closer to that even more than ever, essentially, in today's world, right? Think about how hybrid these arenas have to be.
Yeah.
And it's not just like in supporting that ultra fan experience, they also have to do concerts. They have to do all these different things. And the amount of technology and logistics that go into like transforming that is also a really incredible story.
I think he said something like 600 miles of fiber, which he said would surround the city of San Francisco. I don't know how many times. Producer Harry informs me that 600 miles is the length of the UK.
Wow. That's nuts.
That is staggering, isn't it?
It is. It's incredible.
Now, obviously, it takes a long time to build something like Chase Center, and technology is constantly evolving. So I asked Brian about how he designs something like this so you can stay relevant and modern 10 or even 20 years down the line.
That was one of my core philosophies going into the design and the planning phase of Chase Center, where obviously we had to be flexible, we had to have redundancy, but we had to protect ourselves against what's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years. But going back to the 600 miles of fiber optic cabling, you know, probably another several hundred miles of Ethernet cabling, and really trying to plan for any square inch of the building to be lit up for fill in the blank purpose. So we feel from that standpoint that we have protected ourselves against the becoming obsolete as best that we possibly can be. So I think we've done as good of job as we could have ever hoped and planned for.
Okay, well, that brings us to the end of Technology Now for this week. Thank you to our guest, Brian Fulmer, and of course, to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us. If you've enjoyed this episode, please do let us know. Rate and review us wherever you listen to episodes. And if you want to get in contact with us, again, reminder, send us an email to technologynow@hpe.com. And don't forget to subscribe so you can listen first every week.
Subject line, T-shirt cannon. Technology Now is hosted by Aubrey Lovell in St. Petersburg, Florida, and myself, Michael Bird, just outside of London. And this episode was produced by Harry Lampert and Izzy Clark, with production support from Alicia Kempson-Taylor, Becky Bird, Alison Gato, Alyssa Mitri, and Renee Edwards.
Our social editorial team is Rebecca Wissinger, Judy Ann Goldman, and Jacqueline Green. And our social media designers are Alejandra Garcia and Embar Maldonado.
Technology Now is a Fresh Air production for Hewlett Packard Enterprise. We'll see you at the same time, the same place next week. Cheers.
Cheers.